Hello everyone, it's me, your average bonehead, Jay, and we have made it to 1,000 subscribers. To thank you all and to celebrate this momentous occasion, I want to do something special, and thus, we are now at our first ever video game review, Super Mario Bros. Wonder. But first, quick history. New Super Mario Bros. This was our 2D Mario game series from 2006 to 2012. A return to form for 2D Mario, and great games all around. All 4 of these games, as well as Luigi U and U's Switch port, were all great in my eyes, but maybe their return to form got a bit too formulaic. 4 games from 2006 to 2012, 2 of which came out the same year, that all had the same art style, same animation, same level themes, same enemies, same story, most of the time the same bosses, and even the same music. As I said, these were great games, but boy did it just feel like we weren't getting anything, ironically, new from these games. But then in the summer of 2023, it was revealed that they were finally making a new 2D Mario game. And the best part? It wasn't a new Super Mario Bros. Game. I know, it sounds crazy. New art style, new level themes, new power-ups, new gimmicks, new enemies, new characters, and some classic characters making their 2D Mario debut. The game released October 20th, and spoiler alert for this video, I adore the game. I played through the game with my sister Rain, and the 2 of us had a ball. So, let's get right into this. Oh, and in case this wasn't obvious, spoilers everywhere. Our story begins in the Flower Kingdom, a kingdom close by to the Mushroom Kingdom. Mario and co. were all invited by the benevolent Prince Florian, as he wants to show him a powerful item known as the Wonder Flower. But like clockwork, Bowser shows up, along with Bowser Jr. and Kamek, and steals the Wonder Flower. But while trying to do so, touching the Wonder Flower causes Bowser and his Koopa clown car to fuse with the Flower Castle, causing him to turn into this monstrosity and take over the entire Flower Kingdom. Of course, being the brave heroes that they are, Mario, Luigi, Peach, Daisy, Gold, Buckenberry, Toadette, Yoshi, as well as 3 recolors and Nabbit, are guided by Prince Florian to gather enough Wonder Seeds and Royal Seeds to beat Bowser and save the Flower Kingdom.
I believe in you!
And that's basically the story, but considering how the new Super Mario Bros. Games and most main series Mario games in general, this entire plot is Bowser kidnapped Peach, go fetch. I think this is a nice change of pace, along the lines of 3D World. I mean, when it came to the new Super Mario Bros. Games, New Super U was the only one to do anything different by having you have to go back to Peach's castle after it got taken over. But even then, everything was still basically the same. Speaking of New Super U, let's talk about the characters. I'm really happy that the new Soup cast of Mario, Luigi, Gold, Buckenberry, I refuse to call him Yellow and Blue Toad, as well as Toadette and Nabbit, managed to survive the transition to Wonder. I also like that Toadette is no longer an easy mode character with a broken power-up that only works for her, that for some reason the internet didn't get the memo and created a bunch of plagues onto our society. In this game, Nabbit's still easy mode as he once again is invincible and does not take damage and can't use power-ups, but there's multiple characters for everyone to choose from, as all the main Mario characters play the same, so you don't have to worry about special abilities. Yeah, Luigi can't jump high, Peach can't hover, the Toads can't run faster, but honestly, it's fine for this game. The Yoshis are also easy mode characters, as once again they can't take damage, and they also can't use any of the power-ups. But they can flutter, eat enemies, spit them back out, and anyone can ride them. But Yoshi isn't the only new thing for 2D Mario. Peach makes her grand return to 2D Mario since Mario 2. Super Princess Peach is a spin-off, like Yoshi's Island is, so it doesn't count. And in even bigger news, Daisy is playable. Since Daisy is my favorite main Mario character, this makes me so happy. They could have easily left it with Peach and Toadette and called it a day, but no, they wanted a 3rd main female character. And I'm so happy they chose the good one, opposed to that overrated space princess. Though personally, even though I don't like Princess Whitebread, I do find it poetic that she was introduced in a 3D game and her first playable game was a 3D game, while Daisy was introduced in a 2D game and her first playable game was a 2D game. Either way, I still stand by what I said by Peach, Daisy, and Toadette are the main Mario ladies, counterparting Mario, Luigi, and Toad. And I'm also very happy that the Mario brothers have their respective princesses. My ships have been fueled again. Also on the topic of the characters, I just want to quickly address that the new voice cast do a great job of capturing the spirits of the originals while giving their own unique flair to it. Honestly, I give kudos to them. So naturally, Rain and I picked our 2 favorites of Daisy and Peach, and we set off on our quest. As we are now in World 1, Pipe Rock Plateau, And the first level, welcome to the Flower Kingdom, which is simultaneously one of the funnest ones as well as one of the easiest, due to the fact that there's little to no bottomless pits in this level. In fact, while I'm on difficulty, Mario Wonder is honestly a pretty easy game, all things considered, with a few exceptions. Even if you don't play as Yoshi or Nabbit, you'll still have a relatively easy time, for a few reasons. One, Rain and I did this whole thing in multiplayer, and if one of the players dies, unlike New Super Mario Bros., it doesn't take a life. The player, rather than being put into a bubble, will turn into a ghost that can be revived by the other player. Which means if you guys play it safe, getting a game over is actually pretty difficult. But another reason that makes the game easy, especially in multiplayer, is due to the fact that the collision from the new Soup series is no more. This is simultaneously a blessing and a curse, definitely more of a blessing. Because on the good side, that means the game is actually playable in multiplayer. On top of that, this is a big plus for the level designs, because now the levels don't have to accommodate for 4 players solely because everyone can theoretically be standing in the exact same spot, and can even jump off the same enemy at the same time. So the level design only needs to really be built for one player in mind, allowing everything to be a lot more condensed. On the downside though, this does mean the chaotic fun of the new Soup series is kind of lost, but don't worry, there are ways to troll your friends still. And on a minor personal problem for me, it does mean certain tricks that you could pull off in the new Soup games are not possible here. Like in this part in a later level, Rain and I messed up a jump, and if this was new Soup we or you, one of us would just bounce off the other to grab the collectible, but unfortunately that's not possible here. So we were forced to restart. But overall, I do say the removal of the collision is still more of a positive than a negative, though it would have been nice to at least have the option to turn it on or off. But anyways, back to level 1. Let's address the elephant in the room. I'm the first person to make that joke. The game's new flagship ability, the elephant fruit that turns the Marios, the princesses, and the Toads into elephants, is actually a really great power-up. It also is a very weird one. Unlike all other animalistic power-ups that just has the characters put on a costume, this one morphs the characters into an elephant. Though I do like their elephant designs, I think they're all cute, and I will pay good money for plushes of them, Nintendo. But what does the elephant do, you might ask? Well, obviously you can swing your trunk around to knock out enemies and break blocks. You can run over 2 block gaps, and you can store water in your trunk for puzzles. Drawbacks? You're a slightly bigger target. Yeah, you can still move at top speed, jump as high, and you can even still fit through 1 block gaps in certain areas. So this power-up is as broken as it is charming, as I like the little animations when characters try fitting through warp pipes or through doors. The only weird thing is that ironically this power-up is not as common as I thought it would be, and unless it's given to you in a level you probably won't end up needing it. But nevertheless, it's still fun. But that's not the only new thing in level 1. On top of that is the Wonder Flower, the main gimmick of the game. Upon touching the Wonder Flower, a Wonder Effect will happen, which will drastically change the level, and even sometimes the gameplay. I'll go over each of the Wonder Effects in each of the levels, but for this one, it makes the pipes move. Also, it always bothers me how no one ever goes down this one pipe. It's not essential, it's just for extra coins, but still. Upon reaching the end of the Wonder Effect, you are rewarded with a Wonder Seed, one of the main collectibles of the game. If you are going for 100% in this game, you're going to need to do a few things. The first is collect the Wonder Seeds of every level. They are by far the easiest things to get, as you are automatically given one at the ending of a Wonder Effect, and whenever you reach the flag at the end of the level. If there's an extra Wonder Seed you haven't collected, that just means there's another exit from the level, as there's only 1 Wonder Flower per level. On top of that, the other 2 things you need to do is find the 3 10 purple coins in each level. These are basically the star coins from the new Soup games. Scattered throughout the levels are 3 of them, and you have to find them. These big purple coins, as well as the smaller ones you'll find throughout the level, are there for you to be used at the Poplin shops, which I'll get to those when we get to our first Poplin shop. And the last completion check is to reach the top of the flag at every level. If you're unsure if you collected everything, on the world map, you can simply pull up this level list showing it whether or not you've actually completed the levels. If you've 100%ed everything, there'll be a green check mark, if not, there won't be. Which came in handy for Rain and I in the second level, as we did not know it had a secret exit. Speaking of which, our next level is Piranha Plants on Parade. If the game hadn't already slapped you in the face with charm before, then this level is a kick to the face with charm. It is here we are reintroduced to the iconic Fire Flower, and I just want to stop and talk about the animations. They are so beautiful and adorable in this game. Yeah, we were so conditioned to the new Soup's animations, which were, may I remind you, just meant for the DS. They had no reason to not make more when they put the game on Wii, and especially on Wii U, that when we get little animations of the characters getting the power-ups or going down pipes, it's just so clean. Just a little side thing, when playing in multiplayer, getting hurt or grabbing a power-up does not stop the other person, and I absolutely love it. But if the charming animations from the character wasn't enough, the charm meter gets cranked up to 11 once you grab that wonder flower, and then the piranha plants start singing. I'm pretty sure this is a reference to the Super Mario RPG commercial, but either way, this moment and the song is, say it with me now, charming. Oh, and another little detail I didn't notice until later on, when you're running on the note blocks during the Wonder Effect, they actually are now in rhythm to the music. This really is one of the best levels in the game, and it's the second one. Anyways, this was also the first level that made Rain and I look like idiots, as we completely bypassed the secret exit and didn't come back until much later when we realized there was one. Upon getting the secret exit, we were also able to see Captain Toad, which I'm pretty sure this is the first 2D game he's appeared in. Captain Toad is scattered all across the Flower Kingdom, and every time you find him, he'll give you 50 purple coins. We then enter our next level, Scram Skedaddlers, as we're introduced to these little guys who run away from us. The Wonder Effect is one hell of a power trip as we get a bunch of Starmans raining from the sky. And after that, we move on to the actual bulk of World 1. I love how they subvert World 1 just being the grasslands, and now we're in the cliffside. We then learn why we need to collect Wonder Seeds, as they're able to remove piranha plants that are blocking the way, as we open up a Poplin house. The Poplins are basically the toads of the Flower Kingdom. And we get the greatest thing ever. A badge, and not just any badge, the Parachute Cap badge. This game actually has a badge system. Due to the fact that none of the characters have their signature special abilities, like Luigi's High Jump or Peach's Hover, the game accounts for that by having badges that any character can wear that will give them said abilities. And they happen to give us the most broken one right off the bat. The Parachute badge was the main badge Rain and I used throughout the entirety of our playthrough, as it is by far the most broken. Aside from giving you an infinite slow descent every time you push the R trigger, it can also be used to save you from slightly missed jumps, as you can use it to infinitely wall jump back up. You get a wall jump badge later on, and even that isn't as good as the Parachute Cap badge for this. But anyways, now we enter our first free roam area, where we can choose whichever level in any order. Rain and I choose to pay off this guy to have access to more levels, and then we try out our first break time level. These break time levels are actually nice, fun, simple, short, sweet levels, which basically give you a free Wonder Seed, as the possibility of losing most of them is non-existent, and like all the normal levels in this game, there's actually no time limit either. We then enter the next level, Bull Rush Coming Through. This is another episode you'll have to play twice, as there's both a normal and a secret exit. But also in this level, we are introduced to the new Bull Rush enemies. This enemy will rush right at you and will destroy any blocks in its path, stopping once it hits a wall, and there's some parts of the level where you have to maneuver the terrain so you can get them to go where you want. This of course gets more intense though once you grab the Wonder Flower, and the Wonder Effect causes a stampede of bull rushes to go by, and you have to ride them, which causes them to run right through the flagpole. That's why you have to play the level twice. And after that, our next level is Here Come the Hoppos, where we are introduced to the Hoppos, these enemies that cannot hurt us, but we can maneuver them into places so we can bounce off of them to reach higher areas and even secret areas, though this level also has the shortest and easiest Wonder Effect in the entire game. After that, we unlock another break time, Wonder Token Tunes, and they flat out just play Super Mario World music. And once you get all the Wonder Tokens,
Love that sound.
oh yeah, how have I not mentioned these guys yet? In literally every level in this game, there are these talking flowers. Their species is literally called Talking Flower. And honestly, I like them a lot. A lot of their quips are actually really funny, and it's nice to have voice acting in a 2D Mario game. Though I can understand why some people will get annoyed with them, but at the same time, if you turn them off, you're just a coward. It is also here we are introduced to the Poplin shops. This is where you spend those purple coins you've been gathering, as in each Poplin shop there's a Wonder Seed that's 100 coins a pop that you need for 100% completion, as well as some badges. On top of that though, there are the standees. The standees can be placed in any level, and they take the form of different poses of the character you happen to be playing as. And in online mode, anyone playing the game can run into a standee you placed, and they can work as makeshift checkpoints or even double as hints. The different poses of the standees do absolutely nothing, but they're still fun to collect. But the only way to collect them is through paying 10 purple coins at the Poplin shops to get 8 random standees. Do be warned though, you can get duplicates. So what I'm saying is, this is perfect for anyone with gambling addictions. Afterwards, Rain and I end up going to the Parachute Cap Badge Challenge, and I also find these badge challenges scattered throughout the game to be really fun. And one thing to note is that failing them does not take a life. Remember that. And then our next level, Roller Koopa Derby, we are introduced to these pink-shelled rollerblading Koopa Troopas, and the wonder effect of the level ended up making Rain and I once again look like complete idiots, as we just could not for the life of us find the last wonder token. And after beating that, we unlock another break time, which is basically just a Super Mario Maker level, and we move on. Now, using our Wonder Seeds, we unlock our first Wiggler race. I love these little interludes, as you have to end up racing a rollerblading Wiggler as fast as possible in order to beat her, as it will reward you with a Wonder Seed. And even though there's only 3 of these throughout the game, they're all equally as fun. Though while we're here, I really want to talk about the controls of this game. As I suspected, gameplay-wise, this game is pretty closely cut from the same cloth as New Soup U Deluxe, but even more tightly refined and buttery smooth. There's a lot of moments in this game where the characters are rocketing forward and you need to have split-second reaction time, and the game ends up just feeling like an extension of your arm, as platformers, especially 2D ones, should. After beating Wiggler, though, we move on to the next part of World 1. This is a huge world, with a whopping 20 levels, by the way, as we get to our next badge challenge, the Wall Climb badge, which Rain and I ultimately never ended up using after this challenge. And we head to the underground where we get our next level, Angry Spikes and Sinking Pipes, where the wonder effect of this level is another music-based one. This almost makes up for the fact that Nintendo has yet to put a Rhythm Heaven on the Switch. Almost. After that, we go to Swamp Pipe Crawl, which gives us these pipes that we have to push, and a few puzzles that we have to solve by doing so. As we can see Rain and I's brilliant IQ on full display, and it's the first time the wonder effect is something we've already done before. There are a few wonder effects that actually repeat themselves throughout this game, but what helps keep them fresh is the context of how they're being repeated. I'll get back to this in a second, as now we have our first KO arena. These little arena challenges basically have you go through waves of enemy with any of the power-ups that you have, and you have to complete it as quickly as possible to get all 3 purple coins. Afterwards, we can head up the cliffs to the next level, Bull Rush Express, which is another level with 2 exits. This entire level is just a wonder effect, as we have to ride a stampede of bull rushes to the end, where you either need to be really good at carrying shells or just have an elephant fruit in the reserves, because getting the secret exit allows you to climb further up the cliffs to Sproings in the Twilight Forest. This is a stylistically pleasing level, as it's ripped right from Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, and the wonder effect has us stretch ourselves out and we can be back to normal by ducking, which is how we are able to maneuver the level. After we unlock our final normal level of the world, Cosmic Hoppos. This level is our first vertical one, but also once we reach the goal, we have to ignore the goal and end up breaking side-scroller conventions and go left so we can get to the Wonder Flower. And the wonder effect ends up sending us into space, where we gently float around until we get to the Wonder Seed. After that, we unlock our next badge challenge, the Jet Run badge. As I alluded to before, this badge has you rocketing forward and you cannot stop in any way, shape, or form. But as a plus, if you run off an edge, you end up still running for a few seconds and can still jump, which is the gimmick of this challenge. So thank God we have good controls. After doing all that, we unlock our first entrance to the first level of Special World. I'll talk about all the Special World levels later. But now we reach our first castle of the game, Pipe Rock Plateau Palace. One detail I love is that you actually have to enter the castle opposed to it just being a cutscene, and the wonder effect causes gravity to take effect to the pipes all across the castle. At the ending of the castle lies our first boss, Bowser Jr. And this is a slight criticism towards the game. In a game with 6 main worlds, not including the final world obviously, only 4 of them have boss fights, and of those 4 castle boss fights, they're all Bowser Jr. Before this game came out, everyone was complaining over Nintendo's apparent overusage of the Koopalings. After Mario World, the Koopalings kinda disappeared from the franchise until their main series resurgence in New Super Mario Bros. Wii, and because they were in 3 of the 4 New Super Mario Bros. Games, and their boss fights in them, especially in 2, weren't that good or original, everyone deemed the Koopalings, these 7 characters with 7 unique personalities and 7 unique designs, to be unoriginal, and they wanted them out of the franchise. Now, as a diehard fan of the Koopalings, seeing the bosses now all just be Junior, is it everything you guys always wished for? But real talk, I honestly think this would have been the perfect time to use the Koopalings, as the fights against Junior, while it sucks that he's all the bosses, are fun fights, and they do have their own gimmicks that make them feel unique from each other. I just kinda wish that it wasn't just the same character every time. On top of that, you don't even fight Kamek in this game, but I'll get to that when we get to the airships. And one more thing while we're still on the topic of the Koopalings, yeah, I 100% believe they absolutely earned their 7 slots in the Mario Kart 8 roster. All of you are just mean. But anyways, the Bowser Jr. fight is still fun, as he uses the Wonder Effect to change everyone's sizes. Once you beat him though, he runs off and you're rewarded with a Royal Seed, as you can now finally move on to the Petal Isles, which isn't World 2. But before we get in depth with that, we see Bowser in the center of the Flower Kingdom, as he's using giant piranha plants to shield himself. But the Royal Seeds that we collect happen to have one-time use anti-piranha plant spray, as we need to find the remaining Royal Seeds scattered across the Flower Kingdom so we can go and confront Bowser, as we are now in the Petal Isles. The Petal Isles are very interesting, as they basically double as their own world, as well as an interlude between worlds. We get a Poplin house here, get the Wonder Seed, but anyways, we move on to our first underwater level, Leaping Smackerel, where we avoid these new enemies, building up to the Wonder Effect, which has us avoiding giant ones that can destroy the terrain. As for the water controls, they're fine. Surprisingly, there's not that many water levels in this game, thank God on that. And once you unlock the Dolphin Kick badge, the swimming becomes a lot better, almost akin to Rayman Legends. Of course, it doesn't make the challenge to beat these racing talking flowers any easier, but we got it eventually. Using the Wonder Seeds to remove the piranha plants, unlocking Rawburb Cove, another underwater level, but with an even more creative Wonder Effect, as it ends up inverting the water, making us have to swim upwards. After that, we unlock the Poplin Shop and an underground level, Bluebird Roost. This is our introduction to the new Bubble Flower, which is basically a better version of the Blue Baby Yoshi from New Soup U, as well as basically just being Bubble Kirby from Squeak Squad. We also see these Bluebird enemies, which create platforms for us to jump on. The Wonder Effect, though, turns their platforms into more bubbles for us to bounce on. After all that, we finally unlock the actual world too, Fluff Puff Peak, the Snow and Sky World. We visit a Poplin house and get the Wonder Seed, and then we head off to the first level, Out My Way Valley, where we're introduced to these new enemies that kick ice blocks around and can even kick shells back. But that's not really important right now because I'm more concerned of the music. Mario Wonder's OST has already become one of my favorite Mario soundtracks, but World 2 has got to be one of my favorite worlds in the game solely for its music. Mainly because my 2 favorite level themes are the main themes of this world. The snow theme and the athletic theme. Back to the level though, this is another one where you have to play the level twice because the Wonder Effect will end up breaking the main flag. After that we get another break time, and then we move on to the next level, Pokapedi Pass, a level known for this one Goomba. The Wonder Effect causes a blizzard, causing more snow blocks to appear that you have to maneuver around. After that, we get another wall jump badge challenge, and for some reason this part right here really put Rain and I through the ringer. We then get our first search party level, where basically you gotta look around this big room to find the 5 Wonder Tokens so you can get the Wonder Seed, and this one definitely did not make Rain and I look like complete idiots by taking 11 minutes to complete it. So after that layer of hell, we end up using our Wonder Seeds to move the Piranha Plant to unlock the level Condarts Away, where we utilize another set of new bird enemies, this game has a lot of them, named Condarts, that will launch themselves in whichever direction they're pointing at, destroying any blocks in the way. And this gimmick is taken further with the Wonder Effect that temporarily turns it into a Zelda game, and we have to use the Condarts to clear the path for us. After beating that, we get another Poplin Shop, I blow off more of our money, and then we get to my favorite level of the world, Jump Jump Jump. This is another level where the Wonder Flower is the entire thing, as once we get it, it becomes our Rayman Legends music level. As platforms will appear and disappear to the beat, it is up to you to keep jumping in time with it. Don't worry if you fall off though, it does not take a life, and as long as you just go back through the golden pipe, it will bring you right back to the beginning of the level and you can try again. Of course, you could just leave the level by grabbing the flagpole at the bottom, but you don't get a Wonder Seed for this. Yeah, there are a few fake exits in this game, where if you get them, you don't get anything. They don't even count for 100% completion. But back to the main level, actually getting the timing down is so satisfying. And this is another level where the Parachute Cap badge is a godsend. And because Rain and I decided to go this way first, we get another badge challenge. This time the Spring Feet badge. This is basically just Spring Mario from Galaxy. Spring Mario is not a good power-up. You bounce infinitely and can jump higher if you time your button presses, or just hold the button. And just like in Galaxy, it's awkward to use. Luckily, like with all badge challenges, failing does not take a life, so there's no big problem here. It would really suck if they made you use this badge in a challenge that if you lost, it took a life. Anyways, beating that unlocks the entrance to this world's special world level, but Rain and I will do those later. Moving on, we head to our next level, Pole Block Passageway. The pole blocks are a fun gimmick in my eyes, as hitting them spawns in a temporary pole that we can climb and or use as a platform. As you can see in this level, Rain and I actually missed the Wonder Effect and had to go back. Upon figuring out where it was, Rain ends up betraying me. The Wonder Effect causes a bunch of poles to spawn in different directions, as we have to traverse them to find the 5 Wonder Tokens, but unlike Roller Koopa Derby, this one did not make Rain and I look like complete idiots. After that, we get a break time, which is more pole block traversing, and then we get the Floating High Jump Badge Challenge, which is basically just Luigi's normal jump. Then after that, we get another KO arena, this time utilizing enemies seen more in World 2, and giving us access to the Bubble Flower. After that, we remove the Piranha Plant and unlock Up and Down with puffy lifts. This level basically has us traversing these puffy lifts, which will sink down anytime any form of weight is placed onto them. This is made even more apparent as the Wonder Effect turns us into puffy lifts, and we have to maneuver these spike balls without ourselves getting crushed. Afterwards, we try heading up to the top of the Fluff Puff peaks, but then Kamek shows up and spawns in the Doom Ship. We aboard, and like every Doom Ship level in Mario games, it's an auto-scroller. We also get to see these new Bob-omb-like enemies that are actually fireworks instead. And much like Bob-ombs themselves, I love these little guys, they're so precious and adorable. The Wonder Effect of this level, and of all the airship levels, is the turrets end up locking onto you, and you have to maneuver them to break the blocks that block your way, while also preventing yourself from getting fired at. And once all that's said and done, you end up reaching the ending of the airship, and this is where once again my criticism of they should have used the Koopalings in this game come from. Because once you count the 4 castles and the 3 Doom Ships, that's 1 for each Koopaling, and we can just have Kamek and Junior battles right before Bowser. But no, all the bosses of the airships is just you running across a conveyor belt and pushing a button. You don't even fight Kamek in them. I would have at least preferred that. But anyways, after destroying the Doom Ship, we move on to right before the peak of the peaks. We have another Poplin shop, and then we head to our next level, cruising with the linking lifts, where we're on a moving platform that has the back pieces constantly disappearing, and we have to hit the link lifts so more will spawn in front of us. It's actually a pretty clever concept, and it once again gets even more wild with the Wonder Effect causing big link lifts to spawn in, on top of having Lakitus throwing things including Wonder Tokens at us that we must collect. After that, we get the level Countdown to Drop Down, where instead of moving platforms, we're standing on stationary platforms, where if we jump on them too many times, the number will go down to 0, causing them to no longer become solid, causing us to fall through them. Then the Wonder Effect ends up having us reenact the opening to Wii Sports Resort. One more break time later, and then it's time for the Palace, where this time the Wonder Effect brings back the whole us stretching out and being able to go back to normal whenever we duck. We then of course get another battle against Bowser Jr., where this time he changes the platforms between ice and honey, and after we teach the brat his lesson that he of course will not learn, we can now wave the Fluff Puff peaks goodbye and move back on to the Petal Isles. On our way through the Petal Isles to World 3, we have another Wiggler race and another Dolphin Kick badge challenge. Both are surprisingly easier than the first ones. Then we get an actual level, Downpour Uproar. This is the level where Rain and I learned that using shells allowed us to swim faster underwater, like the Galaxy games. And the Wonder Effect shoots us up into the clouds as we have to traverse while avoiding lightning. Basically a kinda harder version of the space one from earlier. We then gain access to World 3, Shining Falls, which is honestly the shortest and most straightforward world of the game. Once we go to the Poplin house to get our Wonder Seed, we end up learning from the master that we have to complete multiple trials, so he'll give us the Royal Seed at the top of the falls. Yeah, there's not even a castle at the top. We just have to complete the trials, which are just complete the levels, to get the Royal Seed, no boss battle. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. First, I blow off some money at the Poplin shop while Rain yells at me, and we head off to our first trial, Hop Hop and Away, where we are introduced to these enemies known as Hoppy Cats, which are functionally just the Skip Squeaks from 3D World, as they will jump whenever you jump, though these guys are a lot more interesting, as you utilize them to hit blocks. And of course, things get even more insane with the Wonder Effect, as now the Hoppy Cats become giant, and you have to use them to destroy the ceiling so you can maneuver. We then get another break time where you're supposed to use the background to determine where the hidden blocks are to help you get the Wonder Seed, but Rain and I instead just did this. I love this game. We then get another search party, which thankfully didn't make Rain and I look like as big of idiots this time, because once you hit the first block, everything starts falling into place because the Wonder Token locations build off of each other. We get the Crouching High Jump Badge Challenge, the Mario 2 jump, and then after that, we get our next trial, Ready Aim Fly, where we're avoiding these anglefish enemies, and then using them as platforms during the Wonder Effect. Completing that unlocks another Wonder Token themed break time. Heading up the falls, we go to our next trial, Hop to It, where we're chasing down a Hoppy Cat that has the Wonder Flower. Once we get it, we get a new transformation as we turn into Hoppy Cats and can now jump really high into the air. It is fun to control, but my only problem with it is that we do this transformation 2 more times in this world and there are only 3 levels left. Our next trial is Launch to Victory, which is probably the most mechanically captivating course in this entire world. We're on a moving platform, and every time we jump, a Hoppy Cat will launch from the front, and we have to carefully aim the little guy so he can hit blocks, enemies, and collect the purple coins. The Wonder Effect is once again the Hoppy Cat transformation. This unlocks another break time, and then after that we get our next trial, Across the Night Sky, where once again the entire thing is a Wonder Effect, as it's once again the one where it's raining Starman and we have to just run to the end as fast as humanly possible. We get our final break time of the world, and then we use our Wonder Seeds to unlock the final trial, Zip Track Dash. This is another level where we're being rocketed forward as fast as possible, and we have to have quick reaction time in order to get everything. The Wonder Flower effect is once again the Hoppy Cat, and it's one of the more creative uses of it. Though, even though the Wonder Flower path is the way you need to go to complete the level, technically speaking, you do have to go to the fake exit if you want to get all the purple coins. And after that, that's the world. As you just head up to the Poplin House at the top of the falls, and that's it, you get the Royal Seed. In fact, the way to unlock this world's entrance to Special World is you just go back to that Poplin House and it just automatically unlocks. No extra things you gotta do. And so that's the end of Shining Falls, as we head back to the Petal Isles. In our Path to World 4, there's only one level in the way, Jewel Block Cave. This level is our grand introduction to our final new power-up, the Drill Shroom, which is basically just Drill from Forgotten Land, which is basically just Animal from Squeak Squad. There's a lot of Squeak Squad representation in this Mario game. Anyways, this ability allows us to drill underground and even drill into the ceilings, and protect our heads from spiky enemies. And this power-up is especially effective during the Wonder Effect, as we have to dig down as fast as possible. Before we enter World 4, we of course have another Poplin shop. I think you all know how this goes. And then we finally enter World 4, the Sunbaked Desert. Wouldn't be a Mario game without one. Upon entering and getting our Wonder Seed from the Poplin House, we learned that this is probably the most non-linear world in the entire game, as all the levels in the desert area are hidden and you have to find them. First though, we make a pit stop at the Poplin shop, bet it all on red and wait for that return on investment. Then after that, we find and do the second Parachute Cap Badge Challenge. Afterwards, Rain and I find our first level, the Desert Mystery. Despite the name though, it's a pretty straightforward level, as you have to use these hooks to unveil platforms. The Wonder Effect then has us going through a kind of maze-like temple in order to get the Wonder Seed. Rain and I then move on to the break time level, Raise the Stage, where we have to jump in time with the music to cause the stage to raise. But that's not why this level is special. Why it's special is because that's Sunshine music. The 3D games barely reference Sunshine, and this is not the only Sunshine reference in the world. I'll get to it though when we get to it. Afterwards, we head to the level Armad's on the Roll, which is technically supposed to be the first level, but who cares? The Wonder Effect makes everything go faster. After that, Rain and I head to another break time, the Treasure Vault, where we use the Drill Shroom to get to the Wonder Seed. We then head off to the level Rolling Ball Hall, which introduces my second favorite new enemy, the Revers. I already love chain chomps, and these things are just so adorable. Get behind them, pull them back, and watch them go. And you use them for puzzle solving in the break time you unlock after this level. Oh, and quick headcanon, Daisy ended up adopting these little guys after the events of the game, meaning Luigi and Daisy have 2 dogs, and Mario ended up adopting the cats that took a liking to him from Bowser's Fury, so he and Peach have a bunch of cats. Basically, dog couple, cat couple. The Wonder Effect makes the screen tilt, making us reenact Indiana Jones. This is actually very fun when you just slide. And after a solid minute of searching, Rain and I found our next level, Blooms of the Desert Sky. In this level, we're introduced to these guys that we can utilize as springboards to bounce off of. And then we get to the Wonder Effect and, look, I know the P-Balloon has existed since World, but until Mario Maker 2, it's never happened to any of the female characters, and this is the first time we see it happen to the princesses. And honestly, with the way they did it, This is a Rayman thing. I've been referencing Rayman Legends a lot in this video. And yes, I know. It's only weird if you make it weird. And besides, I at least think they look cute. What was that for? Moving on. We head to our next break time, and after that we end up finding out that there was a level in the waterfall. Ninja Jump Party. My favorite level in the game. This is by far one of the easiest levels, as there's little to no way to actually lose it. But it makes up for that in basically being piranha plants on parade on steroids. The whole level is once again just the Wonder Flower, and once you get it, you have to jump to the beat of the music in order to get the purple coins, as well as stay on the platforms, and the music is just god tier. My favorite song in the game. After that god tier level, we head off to Valley Vullis Noodles, where we have to do more treacherous bouncing, and the wonder effect makes time go slow. And now we have entered the Desert Fortress. Up here we can find a hidden poplin shop that sells 3 different wonder seeds for 3 different prices, all 3 are required for 100% completion, and we also get another crouching high jump badge challenge. After that we head to our next break time, and this was the other sunshine reference I was talking about. It's just so weird to hear them reference Sunshine in a 2D Mario game. The 2D games never reference the 3D ones. Or at least, the originals didn't because the 3D games didn't exist yet, then the new Soup series chose to just not acknowledge them. But anyways, this is still cool. 1 KO Arena wall up later, and we then head off to Color Switch Dungeon, which Rain and I had to do twice because we, for the life of us, could not figure out where that last purple coin was. The Wonder Effect summons Shadow Mario, who functionally is the Cosmic Clones. We get the break time, and then we move on to the next level. Secrets of Shova Mansion. This is another level that you have to play twice in order to get the secret exit, but I also like the creativity of how you have to move things around, even if they don't look like they can be moved, in order to find secrets. The Wonder Effect causes these guys to start pushing a giant Bowser statue after you, and you have to move as fast as possible to get away from it. Finding the secret exit lets us access Flight of the Blooms, where we have to do more bloom parkour. The Wonder Effect gives us giant ones we have to bounce off of. Yeah, the balloon transformation was only a one-time thing. After we complete that level, we unlock the Invisibility Badge Challenge. This is the worst badge in the game. I know I said the Spring Mushroom 2.0 was the worst, but this one is very aggravating. Luckily, you don't have to wear this badge, and once again, they don't put you into any treacherous situation where if you mess up, you'll lose a life. Beating this challenge unlocks this world's special world level. We then get another search party level, which, unlike the second one and more like the first one, makes Rain and I look like complete idiots. We then get another castle where the Wonder Effect this time is that time will go fast for a few seconds and then time will go slow for a few seconds. Upon clearing that, we get to Junior, whoop the kid, retrieve the royal seed, and give the water back to the desert. Upon arriving back at the Petal Isles, we are blocked by Kamek, who summons another Doom Ship. And the difference with this one is we use Lakitu clouds to traverse the skies. The Wonder Effect is the exact same as the last one though. Same with the quote-unquote boss fight. After destroying that, we continue through the Petal Isles. After that, we head to Mama Mouthful, where we have to avoid being eaten by these guys, and this talking flower asks this Louis-esque question.
Wonder what you taste like.
And afterwards, during the Wonder Effect, we don't watch the Super Mario Bros. Super Show. We then head to Nosher Lair, and we once again have to avoid being eaten. I guess it makes sense since this is the sweets themed area. Afterwards, we unlock World 5, the Fungi Mines, another short world with no castle, get our Wonder Seed from the Poplin House, get our Wonder Seed from the Poplin Shop, I blow off more money, and we enter our first level, Up Shroom Down Shroom. As one would suspect from the name of this level, we have to maneuver mushrooms that go up and down. And there's even pumpkins in this level. And of course this is made even better once we get the Wonder Effect and we get another song sequence. Kind of funny considering how this game released right before Halloween. A part of me thinks that was intentional. Afterwards, we have to level Tally's Toxic Pond, where we have to swing on these guys to traverse the poison. Though this is also another level that almost made Rain and I look like complete idiots. Not because any cryptically hidden items, no, because the Wonder Effect is a quiz show. You can technically answer wrong as many times as you want as long as you get at least 3 right before the time runs out. After that, we get another break time with some classic music. And then we head off to Beware of the Rifts, where this dark matter stuff will go around the level, making some areas temporarily unaccessible. 2 things to be warned about this level. 1, this stuff can hurt you, and 2, make sure you hit this block as fast as possible before before the purple coin spawns. Rain and I learned that one the hard way. The wonder effect once again spawns in Shadow Mario. The break time unlocked from that has us getting wonder tokens in a spinning room. After that is Light Switch Mansion, the best level of the world and one of the best in the entire game. It's the only ghost house in the entire game, and unlike normal ghost house, it's pretty straightforward, having us use light switches so we can actually defeat the boos. But what makes this level so great and memorable is the wonder effect. We get another song sequence, sung by King Boo. It is just so great seeing him, and this is the first 2D game he's ever appeared in. The chase is fun and the song itself is great. I do have one minor nitpick, and that's I kinda wish Nintendo would just use the Luigi's Mansion King Boo from this point forward. I mean, he's been in all 3 Luigi's Mansion games, so that design is clearly iconic, and obviously a lot better than just Big Boo with crown. But despite that nitpick, this is still another one of my personal favorite moments of the entire game, and helped make what were usually the most tedious levels in the New Soup series into one of the best in wonder. Afterwards, we head into the mines to the Wow Wow Wubba ruins, where we can swim in this green slime, but unlike water, while we're in it, we are not affected by gravity. Therefore, it's infinitely more fun to control. The wonder effect ends up turning us into these adorable slimes that allow us to move around on walls and ceilings. Avoid this guy like the plague, though.
Thanks for the appetizer!
I thought I was a degenerate. Afterwards, we get the Grapple Vine Badge Challenge, which lets us use vines as grappling hooks. Afterwards, we head deeper into the mines to the Swaying Ruins, where Rain and I intentionally restarted here because we thought there was something important above the door. There was not. The wonder effect turns the swaying platforms we're standing on into slime, making us slide across them. We get a KO arena, one of the more aggravating ones, and then we reach the bottom of the mines, the Poison Ruins. And in this level, we get the adorable slime transformation again, where Rain and I swiftly slid right past the final purple coin and had to do the level again to get it. After that, we go to the final quote-unquote level, Operation Poplin Rescue, where we rescue the poplins that are trapped at the bottom of the mine, and they gift us the royal seed for our troubles. Like I said, no boss battle. And just go back into the level again, so you can unlock this world's special world level. And after that, we say goodbye to the Fungi Mines. Back on the Petal Isles, we have our Spin Jump Badge Challenge, and then we go to the level Muncher Fields, which has probably my favorite atmosphere in the game, solely because throughout the whole level, the background is of Bowser's Castle, which makes sense where it's placed on the map. That and the wonder effect makes everything go shadow and the platform sentient. After that, we have another KO arena, as well as the final Wiggler race. Completing all of those levels unlocks the Petal Isles Special World level, but it also means we can go to World 6. Deep Magma Bog. Much like World 4, this is one of the least linear worlds in the entire game, as right after we get our Wonder Seed from the Poplin House, we basically can go straight to the castle, except like all the other castles, it's blocked off and we need to collect Wonder Seeds. So we have to go deeper down into the bog in order to get them, and we can basically tackle the levels from the left or the right in any order we choose. So naturally, Rain and I started off with a search party. Granted, this is one of the easier, less cryptic ones, as this one actually gives you the 3 new power-ups to work with. That still didn't stop this one coin from being a pain, solely because we never had a drill puzzle that was like it before. We then followed that up by doing the other floating high jump badge challenge, so clearly we had our priorities straight when it came to this world. This world also has quite a few poplin houses that give out Wonder Seeds, with a whopping 4 of them. Then after all of that, Rain and I finally went to our first true level, where the Rumbas rule. In this level, we cause a domino effect that ultimately leaded to us becoming spiked balls. One spin jump badge challenge later, we reach Rogs in the Ruins. Another level Rain and I had to do twice because once again that third purple coin eluded us. The wonder effect gives us the top-down Zelda-esque perspective again, and we have to quickly maneuver a maze before the lava gets us. After that, it's the Poplin shop, I should seek help, yada yada yada. And on the other side of this area, Kamek spawns in the final Doom ship. It's very similar to the last 2, even down to the same wonder effect, with the only difference to this one being that we have to use the hooks to temporarily turn off the flamethrowers to progress. Afterwards, we move on to the level Hot Hot Hot, the second time the song has been associated with Mario, and we have to use water to extinguish these hot rocks. The wonder effect causes it to rain. This is also another level you have to do twice in order to get the secret exit. After that, it's another break time, which is more of just extinguishing hot rocks, one Grapple Vine Badge challenge later, and we reach the level Pull Turn Burn, where we have to utilize these hooks again in order to move the flames around. Rain and I only died a lot in this level though, solely because we swore there was something up here. There wasn't. The Wonder Effect lets us swim in lava. After that is our last KO arena. After that is Wavy Ride through the Magma Tube, where Rain and I jumped literally headfirst into the lava more times than I'm willing to admit. And the Wonder Effect has the almighty Boobkin statue launching fire rocks at us. Which, while I don't have footage of, if you just use drill and duck, you are safe from every shot. After that is my favorite level of the world, Dragon Boneyard. And it's my favorite level solely for the Wonder Effect, which turns back the clock on those old fossils, turning it into a live dragon. And one thing I always love about friendly Mario reptiles is how they always seem to relate them back to the Yoshis. After that majestic flight, the last few levels of the world are actually the remaining badge challenges. Jet Run, where Rain and I messed up going the right way to get the third purple coin, and because we couldn't just bounce off each other, we had to use deep complex molecular physics in order to get it rather than just restarting the level. Then there's Invisibility, still the worst badge in the game, and then Spring Feet, because for some reason this game we've shown nothing but unconditional love to is starting to hate us. Beating the remaining badge challenges unlocks this world's special world level, and now it's time for the castle. Another fun castle level, the Wonder Effect sees the return of the adorable slime, and we bop the brat for the final time. In doing so, we're rewarded with our final royal seed, which means now we can leave the deep magma bog and finally go and confront Bowser. And I just love the aesthetic of Bowser's castle in this game. Even though 3D World has my favorite aesthetic, this one definitely beats Odyssey. I just adore the whole rock show vibe this one gives out, especially the further into the castle you go. I just love that Nintendo's embracing the fact that Bowser's canonical speaking voice is Jack Black. Our first level of the area is Missile Meg Mayhem, where we see, for the first time ever, a female member of the Bullet Bill family. And the Missile Megs can be used as platforms that will descend once you jump onto them. The Wonder Effect causes a whole barrage of them that we have to use as platforms to get as high up as possible to obtain the Wonder Seed. After telling the missiles to shut up, we move on to our next level, High Voltage Gauntlet, where if the name didn't make things obvious, we have to avoid getting zapped by electricity. Though all of that changes once we get one of the best Wonder Effect transformations in the entire game. Metal. Aside from now being invincible and having the ability to conduct the electricity, which helps us light the way, this transformation is a big old reference to the metal cap from Super Mario 64, even down to having a god tier remix of the theme. After that is Evade the Seeker Bullet Bills, where we get, once again, a new species of Bullet Bill, Seeker Bullet Bills, as we have to avoid them while we traverse the level, and for the Wonder Effect we get to control a boat. After that is Knucklefest, Bowser's Blazing Beats. This starts off as your pretty standard level before the final boss level, then all that changes when we get the Wonder Effect, and we get this epicness, followed by this rockin' song. Still doesn't make up for the fact that we don't have a Rhythm Heaven on the Switch. And after all that build up, we have now reached the final battle, Bowser's Rage Stage. The level starts off by teasing us with a Bowser Jr. battle, but due to the kid's own stupidity, he is quickly dealt with. The level itself is a rhythm-themed auto-scroller, as we have to go through a gauntlet of Wonder Effects. My favorite part is when all the rhythm-themed ones start coming back. Like the singing piranha plants, dancing spikes, and King Boo. But of course everything is amped up due to how distorted the Wonder Effect is making everything. I also love the detail of the distorted talking flowers trying to still give us encouragement. And then after that, we finally make it to the King of the Koopas, Bowser, as we get our final battle. This is actually a really good final boss. At least opposed to the new Soup series constantly recycling Bowser Gets Big. This whole fight is rhythm themed, as we have to time our jumps to the music in order to damage Bowser by destroying his hands and pushing the button under him. It is a relatively simple 4-phase fight, but I give it credit for how creative it still manages to actually be due to the whole rhythm theme. And it's still fun. My biggest criticism is honestly I think it could have gone longer. But anyways, after you do enough damage to the bottom of Bowser's head, the top opens up and it's time for you to push that final button. In doing so, Bowser is defeated and all of his Wonder Effects are undone, as you get the 7th Royal Seed and put everything back to normal. And thus, thanks to the work of Mario, Luigi, Peach, Daisy, Alagold, Buckenberry, Toadette, Yoshi, the 3 Yoshi recolors, and Nabbit, the Flower Kingdom is saved. Only minor criticism with the ending cutscene though, and this is just a personal thing. I kinda wish that they made it so the people coming down from the castle in the ending cutscene were the characters you were playing as it's always defaultly Mario, Luigi, Peach, and Oligold. I was playing as Daisy the whole game, so I kinda wish Daisy was there, you know, make it feel like I actually did it. But it's a minor speck of criticism, that's how insignificant it is. Besides, Daisy's in the ending pose anyways. Plus, I immediately forget about that because of how fun the credits are, as we get a melody of different themes throughout the game, and different wonder effects. We then get a well-timed joke at the expense of the Koopa family.
Happily ever after.
Upon meeting Bowser, we are rewarded with a medal for beating the game, as the rest of the medals are all connected now to 100% completion. We are also given access to all the Coins Galore stages. If you game over in any world, you gain access to these levels. Of course, Rain and I never did, so we got to try them out now. And these lovely short levels are also music themed, with everything timed to the beat of the slider theme from Super Mario 64. And now all that leaves is the Special World. Upon getting to the Special World, you're given access to the Standees shop. This allows you to buy specific character standees rather than needing to gamble each time. Though you can still gamble, even after you get all 144 standees. On top of that, for 300 purple coins, you can buy 99 lives. Which, trust me, that will come in handy. A few things to note. 1. All the Special World levels are based around their Wonder Flower gimmicks. And 2, all of these levels seem to be built with A, one person in mind, or B, all players have perfect mental synergy. Which, as you can tell from Rain and I, we don't. But anyways, World 1's special level is Bounce Bounce Bounce, where we use the hoppos to bounce over spikes. World 2's special level is Climb to the Beat, which is basically Jump 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 Reprise. This is the hardest level in the world that is fun. Much like the original Jump Jump Jump, jumping to the beat of the music is so satisfying. But there are a few things that make this one harder. 1, the Rising Poison. 2, I do not know how they intended for you to get the 3 purple coins in one run. Thank God if you die after you collect them, you don't have to go back, you just need to complete the level to net them all. And the biggest thing, or the smallest, the fact that you have to wall jump on 1-block platforms. But overall, my favorite level in the whole world. World 3 special level, Triple Threat Deluge, and yes, I did have to look up how to pronounce that, has us using the top-down Zelda perspective again, while avoiding 3 Lakitus throwing spike balls at us like it's a damn pachinko machine. World 4's special level, Pole Block Allure, has us doing tricky pole block traversing. World 5 special level, Dangerous Donut Ride, has us riding donut lifts down a chasm, which transitions into us skydiving next to Poison with the Wonder Flower. World 6's special level, Solar Roller, has us using the Spike Ball Wonder Transformation to get through an obstacle course. And finally, the Petal Isles' special level, Way of the Goomba, is basically us maneuvering with the limitations of the Goomba Wonder Transformation. And even though this is a relatively easy level, whoever designed these 2 parts specifically is a psychopath. After that, we unlock the semi-final test, Piranha Plants Reprise. As the name would imply, it is a reprise of Piranha Plants on Parade. Except this one's actually difficult. But much like Climb to the Beat, it's a fun type of difficult. The last fun type of difficult in this world. As we get the final test, Wonder Gauntlet. As the name would imply, it's a gauntlet of various non-transformation themed wonder effects. And this level is difficult. There are no checkpoints. Fail once, you get sent all the way back to the beginning of the level. This was a level that actually started making Rain and I get frustrated with each other. It took us a long time, but not as long as the true final level, the final test, Badge Marathon. I hate this level. As the name would imply, it's a final test marathon of all the badges that you have acquired. And for some reason, they decided to amp up the BS this level throws at you. Like, I'm not sure how you're supposed to do this first glider segment without taking any damage. Not unless you get really lucky. There's also the fact that this level is clearly not multiplayer friendly. There's this one segment where I swear the lava will go down only when it feels like it. This wall jump segment is really annoying based on how slow the hotheads and little sparks choose to move. But none of that's the worst part. This is the worst part. The Spring Feet segment. The timing here must be perfect or else you get hit by a firebar and die, or you fall and lose a life. Lose a life, you're probably thinking. You're also probably thinking, but you said earlier that you don't lose a life in badge challenges. Well, you do in this one for some reason. So forgive me when I say that checkpoints in a level like this mean nothing when you game over. Rain and I spent hours on this level to the point where we just gave up and cheesed it with Nabbit, which is why I said earlier it was a good thing he doesn't hinder 100% completion. And that was such a sour note to end the game on. Luckily, there is one little thing afterwards that gave Rain and I a big smile. For completing the final test, you get one more Poplin house titled Wonder, ? Where the game congratulates us for 100% completion and rewards us with our final badge, the Sound Off badge. Equipping this badge turns all the sound effects into a cappella. This is simultaneously the worst and best reward that we could have gotten for something like this. But it put a big dumb smile onto Rain and I's faces, and that's all that mattered, as Super Mario Bros. Wonder ends on that note. And honestly, despite the final test, that's a good note to end on. Super Mario Wonder just makes me so happy. It takes everything that was great about the new Super Mario Bros. Series and just amps it up to infinity. The character roster is great, the level design is amazing, the soundtrack is god tier, the new power-ups are all fun and inventive, and the Wonder Flower changes everything for the better. Yeah, there are a few little hiccups here and there, but honestly to me, this is peak Mario. It's not my favorite game of all time yet. That one stands on its own as an S++ tier, which means Wonder isn't even my favorite Mario game. But in terms of the main series, it's definitely a three-way tie between it 3D World plus Bowser's Fury and Odyssey as an S+ tier game. And to end on an even more positive note, this is my favorite level from each world. World 1, Piranha Plants on Parade. World 2, Jump Jump Jump. World 3, Zip Track Dash. World 4, which has my favorite level in the game, Ninja Jump Party. World 5, Light Switch Mansion. World 6, Dragon Boneyard. The Petal Isles, Ma Mouthful. Bowser's Castle, Bowser's Rage Stage. And Special World, Climb to the Beat. My favorite power-up in the game was the Elephant Fruit. And my favorite Wonder transformations was Adorable Slime, Balloon, and Metal. But now, even greater news to end things on. Thank you, all of you, for 1,000 subscribers. This means so much to me. And even though I just thanked you, I really can't thank you guys enough. And on top of that, the most I can ask also is, if you're not subscribed, please, why don't you like, comment, subscribe. I think you'll enjoy it here. You might even find it wonderful. Now, I'm your average bonehead Jay, and if you're not playing Super Mario Bros. Wonder, you're gonna turn into a Goomba. And I wish you all good night.